Today, we're diving into Josh Kaufman's game-changing book, The Personal MBA. We're going to distill it down to its most powerful, actionable ideas and basically build a world-class business education right here in the next few minutes. Let's get into it.
Okay, so this is the question, right? It's the one that stops so many talented, ambitious people dead in their tracks. You want to start a business, you want to climb the ladder, but you've got this nagging feeling you need that super expensive piece of paper first. But do you really?
Because let's be real, that's the kind of money we're talking about for a top-tier MBA, $150,000. That's a huge investment of cash, not to mention 2 whole years of your life. It's enough to make anyone stop and think, is there a better way? You know, this line from Good Will Hunting, it just hits a nerve for a reason. Kaufman actually puts it right there in his book, because it gets at this powerful underlying truth. What if the essential knowledge you need is way more accessible than you've been led to believe? So before we can even get into the nuts and bolts of business principles, Kaufman says we have to tackle the psychological stuff. You know, all those anxieties that stop us from even getting in the game in the first place. Do any of these sound a little too familiar? That vague business angst, that feeling of intimidation because you don't have the right certification, or just good old imposter syndrome, that voice telling you you're completely in over your head. Kaufman's whole point is that these feelings are totally normal, but they're built on this myth that business is some impossibly complex thing. It's not. So how do you fight back against those fears? Well, you do it by shifting your focus. Instead of trying to memorize a million different complicated methods that are going to be outdated next year, you just grasp the few powerful principles that basically never change. And this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson just nails it. Once you really understand the fundamental why behind something, you can pretty much figure out any how on your own. It's about building a solid foundation, not just a toolbox full of random tactics that you don't know how to use. And you can really see the difference here, side by side. On the one hand, you have what a lot of traditional education focuses on, these really complex methods that honestly go out of date pretty fast. But on the other hand, you've got the personal MBA approach, simple, universal ideas, what he calls mental models that are built to last. So what even is a mental model? It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just your brain's internal blueprint for how things work. Like, you have a mental model that when you press the gas pedal in a car, it's going to go forward. The whole goal of a good business education is just to give you more accurate mental models so you can make better decisions way faster. Okay, now we get to the core of it. Kaufman argues that every single business, and I mean every business, from a little hot dog stand to a massive tech company, is built on the exact same 5-part blueprint. If you master this, you'll understand the core of pretty much any venture out there. And here they are. First, you've got value creation. That's making something people actually want. Then marketing, getting their attention. Then sales, turning that attention into money. Then value delivery, which means actually giving them what you promised. And finally, finance, making sure you bring in enough cash to make it all worthwhile. Now here's the crucial part. If you take away even one of these, you don't have a business anymore. You've got a hobby, or maybe just a flop. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with part 1, value creation. This is not just about having a cool idea. It's about making something that other people genuinely want or need. It's the bedrock. If you get this wrong, nothing else matters. And this brings us to what Kaufman calls the iron law of the market. And let me tell you, it is as cold, hard, and unforgiving as it sounds. The market doesn't care how brilliant your idea is or how hard you work. If people don't want what you're selling, you will fail. End of story. So how do you make sure you're not on the wrong side of that iron law? By tapping into one of these 5 core human drives. Every single successful business connects its offer to at least one of these deep, fundamental desires. Our drive to acquire things or status, to bond with others, to learn and be curious, to defend ourselves and our loved ones, and our drive to simply feel good. The more of these drives your offer connects with, the more powerful it's going to be. So when you start to put all these pieces together, the mental models, the 5 parts of business, the iron law of the market, they stop being just theories. They become a new lens, a really powerful tool you can use to look at any business and instantly understand how it works, or even to build your own from scratch. And you know, this might be the most empowering idea of all. Business isn't some secret, mystical art form that's only for people with fancy degrees. It's a system. It's a repeatable process of finding a problem and then solving it in a way that makes it worth it for everybody involved. So the personal MBA gives you the framework. It gives you the confidence to just get started. It hands you the lens to see opportunities everywhere. So the only question left, and it's the one that really matters, is what are you going to build with it? What value will you create?